On the heels of Steve's press conference, there's so many things that are going on that are really important to you. One of those has to do with Dr. Jerome Corsi and Dr. Andrew Paquette. Now, many of you probably saw the show that we had, I believe, last week, talking about cryptographic algorithms that have created essentially cloned voters within voter records, not just in Wisconsin, where that was the latest report, but also in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Texas, Hawaii, and now we have confirmation, Arizona. In fact, we have the Arizona report was released on Monday, yesterday, and we now know that there are somewhat close to around 500,000 fictitious voters on the rolls in Arizona. That means 500,000 clones of real people. Now, if you want to visit a website called gods5stones.com, you'll be able to download the entire report. And one of the questions that I asked Dr. Paquette earlier today was, well, knowing what we now know, based upon the research that you've done and the fact that you have isolated two specific algorithms, which, by the way, are found in other states as well, the fact that we now have what I would call kissing cousins of algorithms in New York and Arizona. They have the same appearance, and that leads one to believe, especially in the construction of these, as Dr. Paquette pointed out in an interview yesterday, that leads one to believe that the same individuals or the same group of individuals created both of them. They're not identical, but they are so close in their function and how they work. It's very obvious that these are individuals who are akin to each other. Now, one of the pointing questions that we asked of Dr. Paquette, well, since you know the name of the clone and you know the ID number based off of the original name, is it possible to find that individual within the vast pool of voters? His answer was absolutely yes. And I've just received a little while ago a massive file that shows in detail each one of the cloned identities. And we'll be looking for redress in the court system. Not sure who the plaintiff will be, but after I get done with this show, we'll be talking to a couple of potential plaintiffs to see what we can do to have the voter rolls. If they're not scrubbed, we can at least isolate those and ask the court to require that they be cured, meaning that somebody reaches out to that individual, and if they can't find them, obviously it can't be cured. But if they can find them, ask them to explain, did you vote? This is especially important if there is a ballot in a fictitious person's name that has been submitted. That means that there's insiders. That means there are individuals who have been using this information. Now, we don't know that yet. What we do have, though, is proof positive that the two algorithms exist. One is called a metronome. The other is called braided. And if you read through the report, there's examples of that in the report. The fact that those exist, just the fact that those exist, is a violation of federal law. These are non-voters, these are fictitious individuals, and quite frankly, they are fraudulent representations of real people. If there are ballots that have been submitted, mailed in, that means that somebody was able to obtain or was behind creating that fictitious individual. Now, if the algorithm is creating them on its own, that leaves little to the imagination. That becomes an insider's job.